All right, Brody Carter, thank you. And here with us now, CBN News medical reporter Lori Johnson. Lori, so babies as young as 6 months old could soon get the COVID vaccine. Of course, there are a lot of parents out there who maybe support the vaccine but have concerns about giving it to a child so young. What would you tell those parents?
Absolutely 100% talk to your pediatrician. So a lot of we're talking about 19 million children, Jenna, who are under the age of 5. And you're right, only about 20% of children over age 5, between age 5 and 12, have gotten vaccinated. And so there is a lot of hesitancy among parents. But we are hearing parents who have children between 6 months and 5 years old who are very eager to get their children vaccinated because of daycare and preschool concerns, because these parents can't work if their children aren't able to go to daycare or preschool. And oftentimes that requires them to be vaccinated or for there to be less sickness at these places. Also, Jenna, some parents want their children vaccinated because of other people they live with, parents who might be immunocompromised, grandparents, people who live in multi-generational houses. I spoke with a doctor recently who treats COVID patients. He said a lot of his patients got COVID from the children they live with. And so then, of course, we have some children who have health issues who really do need that kind of protection. We've seen that hospitalizations among kids between the ages of 6 and 5 up during the Omicron wave.
Lori, it looks like this vaccine by Pfizer for kids under 5 could include up to 3 doses. Why the 3 doses?
So what's being proposed right now is the 2-dose regimen, simply because that has been tested and it will likely be available to parents who want to give it to their children by the end of this month. And as we just talked about, that's a lot of parents. But it does seem to indicate that the 3-dose regimen might be more effective, not any safer, but maybe more effective, particularly for the 2 to 4-year-olds. And so they're going to continue to test that. But if that is approved, it's not going to be available until the end of the spring. And so just for those parents who really want it right as soon as possible, they're going to push through that 2-dose regimen, and maybe the 3-dose regimen will come later.
This Omicron variant seems like it has really spread like wildfire in this last month or so. Lori, are we at a point where enough people have natural immunity now that we've reached herd immunity?
Well, that herd immunity has sort of been a moving target. But yes, so many people have some level of immunity, whether they got the original vaccine or an original virus, or whether they became sick with Omicron, because we know that there is some immunity for Omicron, but not always. And so a lot of healthcare professionals are saying, yes, there is a great deal of immunity within the environment. And maybe we can start, as soon as this wave subsides, which might be at the end of the month, beginning of March, maybe we can start getting back to normal and start living with COVID.
Just a few seconds left, Lori, but what do you see moving forward for this spring with COVID?
Well, a lot of health officials are being optimistic and saying maybe this pandemic will be behind us and it will turn into an endemic. That is, of course, unless we see some sort of wicked, unpredictable variant, as we have seen in the past.
All right, we will hope. CBN medical reporter Lori Johnson. Thank you, Lori.
Thanks for having me.